Hey everyone, Vazzy back here, and today is a video that I've wanted to make for a little bit, but I wanted to get a better general sense of the whole game in its entirety before I did a review. So today, as of October 14th, I'm recording this. I just want to do a general review on the launch of NHL 24. So I don't really have a crazy format, don't have any notes in front of me for this. Kind of just wanted to talk about it as it comes out here and give my feedback on each game mode and some of the gameplay and all that stuff regarding the game this year. So with that said, let's get into it. I'll have some NHL 24 computer versus computer gameplay playing in the background here. And with that being said, let's start on the gameplay. So overall, this was one of the biggest talking points and changes of the year. The new development team has put a lot of focus on adding new, let's just say, pieces to the gameplay this year with the pressure system, the goalie fatigue system, the new hitting system, and all of that. So let's start here by talking about that pressure system. Overall, this is something that I've absolutely loved. I know in the beta it was kind of overpowered. It definitely needed to be tweaked a bit, and they definitely did that going into the launch of this year's game. Personally, I've had a ton of fun with this. It really it changes the feel of the gameplay. Like, your guys really do get tired if you're trapped in your zone for an extended period of time and all that. It feels different. It makes the gameplay feel different, which is always good in my opinion. And yeah, it just kind of brings that other kind of element to the game, which I like overall. I've had some fun with it early on here. I know I haven't got a ton of time playing with it hands-on here, but from my short amount of time playing with it, I've absolutely loved it. And next, let's move on to talk about the new hitting system. This is something that I've really disliked. Again, and maybe it's just because I haven't had a ton of time to play, but I can't land a hit to save my life here. It's a lot of just kind of bumping, and it's not really effective as of years past. And with that being said, since there's not as much hitting, at least for me right now, you're really having to focus on that poke check. And I found, maybe it's just me again, I don't know, it could be, but there's been a lot more penalties with the tripping and all that stuff. I don't know, yeah, again, that could just be me not being great at the game, which I'm definitely not. But yeah, that all kind of leads together with that system, and it's something that I really haven't been a fan of early on here anyway. And again, I also really haven't been the biggest fan of the hip checks. I've found they've been extremely overpowered online. For me, I never use them personally. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not great at the game, and I don't really know how to put myself in those situations where I'm going to be successful in that. But just playing online against them with people that are very actually good at this game, it's definitely very overpowered at the moment. And like everyone's kind of saying right now, in the real NHL, you don't see hip checks all that often, so I don't know why you're kind of seeing them on every rush. So yeah, that's definitely something that hopefully can be tuned in future patches here. And the last thing I wanted to mention here, at least in regards to gameplay, was the new total controls, and specifically the Michigan. So I'm going to play a clip on screen here. This was Victor Hedman doing the Michigan. It didn't go to plan overall, and it was a weird goal, but there's been a lot of controversy, let's just say, regarding the Michigan and how really anyone can hit it. You don't have to have any hands. You can be like a huge defensive defenseman, and it really doesn't matter. This is something that definitely needs to be tuned. I don't know. I've seen people say maybe you have to have a certain hand stat to even attempt this deke, which is something I could definitely see working overall. I really, honestly, I don't really know what you do, but in its current state, just hitting the Y button and anyone can hit it pretty easily. That's definitely an issue in my opinion. Again, I've seen this online, people just kind of hitting this easy, and it's definitely something that you're not seeing all the time in the real NHL, so I don't really think you should be seeing it in the video game NHL a ton often. So really, that's kind of my overall thoughts, at least on the gameplay side of things. It's tough because it's really fun. I've honestly had a ton of fun playing the game, which is something I haven't been able to say in years past. It's small things that really do need to be tuned to make that gameplay overall just that much more immersive and that much more fun. So overall, yeah, it's different for sure than previous years. You can say that, and it is fun. It's just there is some small issues with it right now for sure. So up next, let's move on to franchise mode. This is the one that's probably a lot of you guys are here for, and just kind of the issues around that, and even just like around the mode with the player creation and all that. So I'm sure a lot of you have seen in the first couple of weeks here, just on Twitter and YouTube videos, other creators sharing their thoughts. Franchise mode is very broken right now. The AI is not in a good spot. I'll flash up a image here that Tugi shared in the first week of his experience with franchise mode. It really just shows the AI can't put a team together as they only have 25 people under contract and are full up on the salary cap. Some not great moves, and really we thought AI would be better this year. And early on, I can confirm it's definitely not, unfortunately. And then just around the mode with player creation, as someone who has created quite a few players in the game already, you can definitely tell there's some issues with created players, especially adding in contracts, as shown on screen here. This is what I put on Twitter after Rasmus Dahlin signed his new contract a couple weeks ago. It took over 10 minutes to add in his $11 million contract, as scrolling for player contracts right now is extremely broken. Clapperton did actually come out and say this would be addressed in future patches, which is good, but it shouldn't be in the game to begin with. And that's not the only issue with created players, as of shown here. Give me one sec. But here, now the fact that you can have grinder defensemen, and when you're creating defensemen and you go into their potential, it still shows as forward potential. Overall, it doesn't actually affect everything. I think it's more of just a visual bug, but still, it's really annoying. It's definitely something I have experienced quite a bit here over the first 2 weeks. And the last thing here I did want to mention when it comes to franchise mode, and is actually kind of why I wanted to even make this video to begin with, was earlier today as of recording, Tactics, he was recording his Chicago Blackhawks series and just had all his files deleted. This is something that I dealt with quite a bit last year. 2 or 3 times I would come to the game and everything would just be gone when it comes to saves for franchise mode. This is extremely frustrating just as someone who's doing an offline franchise, but let alone for a guy like him who's doing this for thousands and thousands of people. It's got to be super, super frustrating. And that to me is it's unforgivable how you can have something like that just really derail a whole series like that. And he's not the only one. I've heard this from other creators too. Not necessarily maybe for NHL 24, but in prior years, this has happened to people that I've been talking to, and it's not acceptable at this point. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts, at least when it comes to franchise mode. One good thing is the dynamic X factors do actually work. It's a great addition to the mode. It is really the only big addition I can confirm. Nothing else too crazy has changed. But yeah, they do work, and that is a good addition, at least to franchise mode. And moving on from franchise mode here, I wanted to talk about next the overall game presentation. This is one of the actual really big positives to NHL 24. This year's game looks absolutely incredible. The overall presentation, how the game looks, how it feels, everything, the whole atmosphere around the game, absolutely amazing. It really does feel like a real NHL game, and like I said, players look more realistic now than ever. Even just small details like the jersey when you see up close, like especially for me editing players, created teams, looks really, really, really good this year. And overall, like the rink boards, that looks really good. In between plays, like when you hear, like I know they said they added Druid Sandstorm. It's cool little moments like that. It's very, very small, but it really does make the game just feel like it's like real hockey, you know. So that is one of the actual positives here for NHL 24. And then moving on from that, just jumping to Hockey Ultimate Team here. Again, I'm probably not the one that has the most knowledge about this. I know there's been quite a bit of controversy about the rewards, all the collectibles. Personally, I'm really confused why there's so many different sets. There's bronze, silver, gold, diamond collectibles. I'm sure it's not that hard and I'll get the handle of it, but as kind of a new user here, at least to the mode, it's a little bit confusing, I will say that. Not the most user-friendly, at least at the start. I know they did hopefully here fix rivals and squad battle rewards. I don't know, I guess we'll have to wait and see, but everyone seems to be a little bit happier about that than they were a couple days ago, which is good. Hut moments are actually really fun. That was a really, really good addition to bring back. So yeah, overall HUD, it's very similar. I know a lot of people don't really like the live content that they have. I don't really know a ton about it. Like I said, I don't spend a ton of time in the mode. It is fun every now and then to jump into, but that's kind of my thoughts on HUT. But really, I think that's kind of all I have to talk about. I don't play EA SHL at all, so I don't even really want to comment on that. I've heard people actually say it's pretty fun, just hanging out with their friends, squatting up and all that, so yeah, that's kind of my take on the game so far. It's so tough because it is, like I said, it's a lot of fun to play. The gameplay this year, it's addictive, it's new, it's fresh. You can tell the development team did put a lot of effort into it, but it just, there's a lot of stuff that's kind of holding it back right now. Those small kind of details that just definitely need to be tweaked here a bit, at least going into future patches. But yeah, that's just kind of my honest take on the game. I wanted to talk to you guys here, just give my honest feedback. In its current state, I would probably give it a 5 or 6 out of 10. That's what I said, in its current state. If they fix some of the stuff that I mentioned, which I really don't think is that big of an ask, I think that's something that can be done pretty easily in the back end, I would give it easily a 7 or an 8. Like I said, it's fun. It's a fun game this year, but it has some work to go for sure. But I think that's going to do it for my review of NHL 24 here. Definitely let me know if you guys did get the game. What did you think of it overall? Yeah, I'm very, very curious on this, as there's definitely been a lot of mixed opinion regarding the game. But yeah, leave your feedback in the comments down below, and I will see you all in the next video.